My name is Derek Oyer, 34 years old, from Chillicothe, Ohio. I'm the program director for Warriors for Christ in Jackson, Ohio. Just a great childhood, sports, school, no significant traumas to really lead to, looking back to where I can say that's why I'm an addict or an alcoholic, whatever.
When was the first time that you started experimenting with drugs or alcohol?
I would say it was alcohol, and right after junior high, in between that eighth and ninth grade year and the transition to high school, wanting to, I played sports and to wanting to fit in, and to be around the guys that were on the football team and to do what they do and to be cool. It really didn't start being more frequent until about like the junior year of high school. I did, like I said, by playing sports, I wasn't allowed, like if I would get caught or if I was, ever in trouble, I wouldn't be allowed to play. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I knew I had to go to college and I wanted to graduate, but I didn't know what the purpose was.
For sure.
So I didn't really take it serious. And so that's why I get to, pay back my student debts. And then there was an instance that I do remember that happened to me. I played basketball for Ohio University in Chillicothe, right? And we had a teammate of mine. He died at my feet during a practice. So that was the first traumatic thing that I was like, wow, this is something I had. It just it put me in complete shock. So it was just where the muscles were pumping too tight, cut off the oxygen to his heart, and he ended up passing away right there. And it
Wow.
was something where I leaned then towards more to the feeling of getting away from myself. I didn't want to hurt. I was scared of what I was feeling, and I wanted to numb that. I left college to take a job in the car business, which, it was very demanding, working on all commission, things like that.
hmm
So the alcohol really started to kick in. It affected my work. It affected at the time, my marriage as well. To please my now ex-wife, that so she could not smell my breath or smell the stench of alcohol or marijuana, so I did switch to pills. Still needing that effect of not wanting to feel how I felt,
hmm
right? I had to always escape. I wanted to just feel different. So I went from opiates to Xanax, and really it kind of, that's when things started to really spiral. Never missed work up until that, and then the typical thing, missing work, not producing, just everything kind of spiraling into something I could not control. Was way bigger than me.
Gotcha.
Everybody's telling me, like, dude, you look horrible, you smell bad all the time. Like, not, it was just out of my pores. I was a drinker too, so I think that, vodka doesn't smell on my breath. Now
Yeah.
that's a huge lie. It smelled like a distillery all the time. But and it was just me really just so embedded in the lie to myself that I could not stop it. But at that time, that's really when that transition hit. Was like, I have a serious problem because I cannot function without the use of a substance in my body. I did not want to use anymore. Okay, I did not even, I wasn't even getting high or drunk. It was just to maintain. It was totally to maintain and totally to function. And I did consider myself a functioning addict by, always having a job, always working, providing, things like that. But that was really all that I did. Everything else was a lie, and just very, very manipulative, and you know, I don't have really the words for it. It was just such a horrible, horrible time.
Yeah.
It really was.
So you went into treatment that third time.
Hmm.
How long did you stay?
I stayed 6 months. I stayed
Okay.
6 months. And I had to travel again. All my treatments actually came. I'm from Ohio. I went down to Florida to get clean, and I end up, like I said, I got divorced in treatment, and I started to make a life for myself in treatment. I was a house manager. I worked actually for the treatment facility as a tech, and really, I say my last relapse was the most meaningful because it was to the point where people, my close family says, treatment, you know what to do. I thought, I was very treatment savvy.
Yeah.
I knew what to say. I was always, the A student in treatment, and look where it got me. I was never real with anybody. I had a lot of trouble with wearing different masks, as we say.
Mhm.
I didn't know who I was. and I was always who you wanted me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And just again going back to that early childhood wanting to fit in. So I really I struggled. I really struggled, and I had almost a year clean at this time, and I'm going well. And then I really just started to do exactly what they say not to do. I stopped talking to people. I stopped doing my self-care. I stopped attending meetings, readings. I just, I got away from it. Again, that thought of I got it this time,
Mm-hmm.
And I guess somewhere deep down, I'm not I'm not an addict, really. And it took me those 5 years to finally again see and look at myself and accept it. Once I accepted and I surrendered to something so much bigger than me,
Mm-hmm.
that's when my life started to turn around. So I actually, the day that my nephew was born, I couldn't go see him at the hospital because I was using and no one knew.
Okay. Okay.
It was, I mean, and you talk about a low point, and how close I am, with my sister and my family, and I love my nephew to death, like he's my own, and I couldn't go see him, and
Wow.
it was really tough. It was really, really tough. That's again, it was just that was like my last checkpoint of like, when is enough enough?
Mm-hmm.
We have a treatment facility, Warriors for Christ in Jackson, where I started off as a volunteer, then I went to a counselor position. I did that for about a year, while back and forth I do all the intakes.
Mm-hmm.
And just really I go around and I speak like like what we're doing here. Now I am the program director there, so I do the program side. My sister, she again, she's the smart one. She does the clinical side, and my brother and his wife Amy, they're the owners and CEOs. One day I would like to have my own facility. I want it to stay in the family, so I would never leave them or where I'm
Right.
at.
Right.
Like I said, Christmases and Thanksgivings would be weird if I did, but it's so cool, and really just again, sky is the limit, and because I know we're doing the right thing.
So let's talk about your relationships while we're on the subject. So
Okay.
you work kind of with your family, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Sounds like you guys have a great relationship. You said your nephew,
Yes.
and how's the relationship with you and your mom? And even like you went through a divorce.
Yeah.
How is the relationship with her now?
Well, really, it's again once you start getting that trust back from people,
Yeah.
and you start actually having integrity, which is like when I say I'm going to do something, I do it, which I could never say that before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something where there's with the same like my immediate family, we talk daily. We do live close, so there's not a day that I don't call. Just say I'm 34 years old, married man, and I still call my mom every day on the way to work just to see how she's doing. Like again,
As you should.
I see my sister and my brother at work. I talk to my dad every day. We're big sports guys, so we're always talking sports. And then even like with my ex-wife, we don't speak or anything like that now, but there's no hard feelings. I want nothing but the best for her and her family now.
Mm-hmm.
I love her mom and dad. Still, they speak to me, and it was like I was like a son to them.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely, there's all the forgiveness is there, the amends have been made, and I just want growth and prosperity and love for them. Yeah, I learned to really, and it's something that I do work on daily, and it's checking the ego and the pride, and I had to learn how to stay out of my own way.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to trust others and really to stand for something, not try to be the popular, the funny, the just. I had to do what I felt in my heart, and it really, what it pays me back isn't in dollars and cents and everything. It's the absolute joy that I've looked for so long. That's what I feel now, and that's why I say the gratitude. It's on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the type of guy, I couldn't go 5 minutes without thinking of using or having more or where it was at or how to get it. And I always had enough. So it was like it completely ran my life. And to go to where I'm at now, to that spot of complete surrender, and when that thought crosses my mind, it's just in one and out the other. And what I always say is I play the tape through. My first sponsor told me this. You got to play the tape, man. You know, if this happens, what about tomorrow? What about the next day? And then what's it lead to in a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road? And you see where you're at.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have to check myself daily. I
Yeah.
really do. And it is that cliche, like, it's one day at a time. For some people, like when I first started out, it was an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Help me just stay in this facility because I want to leave right now. Counting days, like literally counting the days.
Right.
You know, and it's a struggle. It really is. But what I tell my guys is, like, if this was easy, then everybody would be recovered.
Right.
Right. It's hard to sit and talk about your feelings, be vulnerable, and to really show the inside of your heart to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, show those deep, dark secrets that you have to talk about.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. So it kind of leads me to my next question. If somebody is out there struggling and watching this video, what would you say to them? What are your words of hope?
Don't give up. Don't give up. Again, it's a fight that I hold so near and dear to my heart, because I was hopeless. I was homeless in Florida, jobless, and again, I saw myself where I had gone so far and I had no future. I really thought that I was going to die from this, and I did not know how to get away from it. And once I surrendered to this and said it was bigger than me, and I asked for help, and I put that effort into where I used to get high to my recovery, and because I know I'm worth it, and I know how precious life is, that you know, nothing can touch it, like I said earlier. And for anyone struggling out there and doing this, I always say, don't bounce before your time. One of my old counselors wrote that on a card for me. So if it's, you know, you're in treatment, you're struggling, or if you're trying to get in somewhere, there's always, if you have breath, you have hope, 100%. I can't put into words how different life is from, say, 2-3 years ago to where it is today.
Yeah.
I cannot put a value on waking up, not being sick, and smiling and enjoying the little things. I could never enjoy just, say, watching a movie, doing something, playing sports, whatever. I always had to have a substance in me. Mm-hmm. And to where I'm at today, and it's just getting that I'm just scratching the surface, and knowing that nothing can touch it.